Joining me now to debate all this is the host of the Crucible, Andrew Wilson, Jack Posobiec, the senior editor at Human Events, who was at the White House this week, Joanne Carducci, better known as Jojo from Jers, and Mark Lamont Hill, host of Bet News. Andrew Wilson, welcome to you, back to Uncensored. It was great to have you. A lot of our top comments on YouTube during this war with Iran have been, where is Andrew Wilson? So I'm glad we can allay any concerns about your whereabouts. You're here. What do you make of this war? I mean,
where else should I be, right?
Well, exactly. What is your view of this war? We're 6 weeks in. From where I'm looking, most of the things that we were told were likely to happen haven't happened. There's been no regime change. The people haven't risen up for a variety of reasons. And the Iranians have worked out that if you shut the Strait of Hormuz, you can pretty well cripple the global economy when it comes to energy. And by attacking the neighbouring Gulf states, you can cripple their business model around tourism and entertainment and sport and so on. So I'm struggling to see any real victory here, although I accept the Americans and the military have been pounding away in Iran and probably very successfully at the Iranian military. But there's kind of an asymmetric war going on here where you could argue Iran is winning the other side of this. What's your view?
Well, so we're not very far into this conflict. Trump doesn't have the Bush model. So the Bush model of nation building and Bush doctrine is not the Trump model. He's been very clear that he wants to get in and out of this place as quickly as he possibly can. And they're already moving into talks of peace and this kind of thing and opening up the Straits of Hormuz. So I don't think that this will be a long-term military action. I don't think it was ever designed to be a long-term military action. That Trump's never had any interest in those before. I don't see why he would have an interest in one now.
Right, but if it ends with the regime still in place, with the Ayatollah's son as the new supreme leader, albeit he's obviously been badly wounded, but appears to be alive and has already been announced as a new supreme leader, the IRGC remain the controlling kind of military arm of the regime's leadership, and then you have the enriched uranium remaining underground but still in Iranian control, and Iran insists as part of any peace deal that they have a form of control over the Strait of Hormuz. How is any of that a win for America, particularly for a president who said we want regime change, we want total surrender, they're never going to build a nuke and all these things? If there's no guarantee of any of that, how is that a win?
Well, it wouldn't be, but they walked away from the peace talks saying that they're not going to accept those conditions from Iran. So they literally said, we're not going to accept those conditionals. They're not allowed to enrich uranium, and they walked away from them. So I don't think that this is done until the Iranians capitulate. And you also can't trust Iranian state media. They lie constantly. Their state media lies on X constantly. So we don't actually know just yet what sort of deal is going to come out of this. Right now, everybody's panicking, but there may be no reason to panic. You might want to just take a step back and see what happens before you rush to a take here.
As a committed Christian...
There's absolutely reason to panic, though.
No, there's no reason to panic, Mark.
I mean, we've
what are you panicking? What are you
in flag-draped coffins at this point, but that's okay. Don't worry about the 13 people, the 13 heroes that we sent back.
Joe, was Trump over there killing too many people for you? Is it upsetting that he killed the Ayatollah Khomeini, who married a 15-year-old?
Talk about Trump and... I don't really think you want to talk about Trump and...
Get into it.
That's the door you want to open.
I do, yes. Let's. You want to get into. You want to get into Epstein.
Trump's
you guys,
outrage about
hang on.
Did
guys
you hear
are
Marjorie
constantly
Taylor
saying.
Greene? Look.
You guys are constantly saying that Trump is covering for. He's killing them, overwhelmingly killing them.
Piers, can I just say that your interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene
was excellent. Don't all talk at once. Jojo, yeah.
Yeah, no. Look, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I agreed with everything Marjorie Taylor Greene, for the most part, said, and that was a great interview that you had with her. And something Marjorie Taylor Greene said was that Donald Trump ended his relationship with her. He called her a traitor. He called her and screamed at her because she was not going to take her name off of the discharge petition for the Epstein files release. And I don't know why why that isn't a big red flag for you. He said to her, you can't do this or it will hurt my friends. Now, if you don't want to have a conversation about Donald Trump and Epstein, then you're really just taking what Marjorie Taylor Greene just said and calling her, I guess you're calling her a liar. Because why would Donald Trump go to such great lengths? Why would he end his relationship, his friendship with one of his original and most ardent supporters over releasing the Epstein files if there was nothing in the Epstein files that he needed to worry about? And by the way, we just saw the case with the Wall Street Journal and defamation that Donald Trump had alleged had happened in releasing that card, the birthday card to Jeffrey Epstein, that the court threw that out. So if you want to open that door for a conversation about and Donald Trump, I'm happy to go there. I mean, I'm not happy to go there because it's
well, I'll tell you what,
Andrew,
hang on, Andrew. The question I would ask you is, the Donald Trump, the candidate in 2024, was very clear. I will be totally transparent about the Epstein files. We're going to release everything. Secondly, we're not going to engage in pointless foreign wars, particularly in the Middle East. He couldn't have been clearer about that. We're going to be America first. We're going to control our border, which he's done very successfully, by the way. But he wasn't going to do that. He was going to be transparent on Epstein. He was going to be not committing anything in terms of wars in the Middle East. And he's gone against those two things pretty dramatically. And, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene still wants transparency on Epstein files, and she still doesn't think America should be engaging in new foreign wars, particularly in the Middle East, which is where Trump was in 2024. And now the third prong of this for you is, as a committed Christian, you can't be happy when he starts reposting memes, you know, of himself as Jesus Christ. And he's done another one today of him with Jesus. And he's attacking the Pope and so on. But that, if you're a Catholic, you care about that. If you're not, you probably don't. But this stuff with Jesus Christ, you can't be happy with that, are you, Andrew?
Yeah, so there's a lot here to respond to.
Yeah.
So let's start with this. We'll start with the Christian front first. So Trump has made a million jokes which would be considered offensive. It's amazing to me that a bunch of progressives are panicking about blasphemy when they have all these musicals that they put in all of these newspapers, and with like Jesus Christ being played by a bald, for instance. They don't care about that. They told me on this very show, Pierce, that wasn't blasphemous, that was fine, but now suddenly Christians are supposed to be morally outraged on progressives' behalf for some reason. When it comes to Marjorie Taylor Greene, but hang on. Let me respond to some of Pierce's questions.
Yeah.
When it comes to Marjorie Taylor Greene, this progressive here just got done telling me, hey, I actually agree with her. That's amazing. Yes, of course they'll agree with her when she's anti-Trump. These people have TDS. Joe's all over Twitter's always had TDS. She agrees with Marjorie Taylor Greene because it's politically expedient to do so. When it comes to the Epstein files, they lie about this too. There's tons of redactions that are put in and lawyers who restrain this on behalf of the victims. That's been going on for years. Under Trump, he's the only one who's ever released anything on the Epstein files. Where was Joe asking for Biden to release a damn thing on the Epstein files? Nowhere. She did one tweet. Do we got one tweet from Joe, who's on Twitter every single day tweeting her brains out about how Biden needs to release the Epstein files? Nothing. It's always just anti-Trump, anti-Trump.
Most wallets still plug into the same system we were trying to escape in the first place. And that's why Rumble built Rumble Wallet. It's a self-custodial wallet that lives inside an ecosystem that actually defends free speech and financial freedom. No bank holding your balance, not even Rumble can touch your funds. This is your money, on your keys, on your terms. So if you're serious about sovereignty, financial and digital, this is where you level up. Go to wallet.rumble.com or search Rumble Wallet in your app store, download it, back up your recovery phrase, and move your money where it belongs, in your hands.
Okay, let me. I'll come back to Andrew for a response in a moment. But Jojo, you wanted to respond to what Andrew said about you, and in particular, by the way, why was it that the Biden administration did not reveal any Epstein files?
Because it was an ongoing investigation.
Should've, by the way.
That's why.
They had 4 years.
It's a simple
4
answer
years.
to that question.
4 years? You didn't reveal a single file?
Simple answer to that question. It was an ongoing investigation. That's my understanding.
They
Pierce,
couldn't reveal a single file in 4
Joe
years?
Biden's administration. again, Piers, it was an ongoing investigation
Epstein
into Ghislaine
died
Maxwell's
6
case.
years ago, didn't he?
So I don't want to relitigate Joe Biden's administration.
Of course
I want
not.
to respond
Of
to what's
course
happening
not.
right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to let anybody talk? Were you not, like, did you not get held enough as a child? Now, back to the TDS. It's not TDS to call out the fact that Donald Trump has betrayed his voters. Donald Trump has repeatedly betrayed his base. He has gone back on his promises. He said no new foreign wars. He said he would release the Epstein files, that there would be justice for the survivors. He said that he would lower prices. He said that gas prices would come down. He said he would bring back manufacturing. He said he would bring back jobs. None of those things have happened. It's not Trump derangement syndrome for Marjorie Taylor Greene or me, for that matter, to point out the fact that he is betraying his voters and he is not serving the interests of the American people. He is not putting America first. He's entangled in foreign wars. He's much more interested in getting himself a Nobel Peace Prize or a FIFA Peace Prize or whatever it is that he's seeking. And I think that it's incumbent upon all of us to have these conversations honestly about what is happening right now. We're
Okay,
entangled.
all right,
let me ask
We're
you.
7 weeks into this
If
war.
you're going to be
Okay,
honest,
hang on,
then
let me-
stop obfuscating away from the fact that you haven't answered to why it is that Biden didn't actually
haven't
release
answered
any
the
of
question.
this. Hang on, Joe.
We're not talking about Joe Biden. Who's the president right now? No.
You haven't answered
You
the
didn't
question,
answer the
Joe.
question as to
Yes,
why Marjorie
yes.
Taylor Greene.
You can snap
You didn't
your
answer.
fingers and
Andrew,
girl
is
boss,
your name
but
Andrew?
you need to let me finish, lady.
Okay,
Calm down.
you did not answer
So
the question as to why
was this.
Marjorie Taylor
Question
Greene
was
said
this, lady.
he
Calm
broke
down,
their
lady.
relationship
Lady,
over the
calm
Epstein
down,
files.
calm
Don't tell me to
down,
calm
lady.
down.
Calm
Dude,
down.
smoke your cigarette. Do not tell me to calm down. Why did Marjorie Taylor Greene say he ended their relationship because she wouldn't? Do not tell me to calm down. Dude, you sit there and smoke your cigarette. You're not answering the question about why Marjorie Taylor Greene said he screamed at her.
Chill out, lady.
Dude,
it's
you
my turn
need
to talk, lady.
calm down.
Relax.
You've talked a lot. You
Just
interrupted
relax.
the other gentleman.
Just relax. Relax.
Now, you need to
I'm
answer the
asking you
question
about
as to why
why it
Marjorie
is.
Taylor Greene. We're
no,
not
lady, it's
talking
my
about
turn
Joe
to
Biden.
ask the question,
Who
not
is the
yours.
president, dude?
This would be
Dude, it's
my
not your
turn to
show.
ask
Point.
The
It's
show
not
is
yours
your
either.
show.
It's not yours either. So
It's
what are you
not
talking
your
about?
show. The first question
It's
that was
not
put
yours
before this
either.
panel was
It's
why
not
did
yours either.
Marjorie
You can't
Taylor
girl
Greene
boss your
say
way
that
into
Donald Trump
making
called her
demands,
a
lady.
traitor over the Epstein files? Andrew, why won't you answer that question?
Why
Who's the
didn't
president
Biden
right now?
release anything on the Epstein files? That was the question you
Who is the
obfuscated away
president
from.
right now?
I'm pointing
Who's
out
the
your
president right now?
hypocrisy.
Okay,
Do you know what
Who is
hypocrisy
the president
'Cause that's
right
what
now?
you're
All right, given it
engaging
is
in.
my
Why did you
given
answer that
given it
question?
is
I
my
did answer
show.
the
you
question.
okay?
Given it is
I
my
literally
show.
Who's the president right
given,
now?
Are you
Sorry,
okay, lady?
Lady and gentlemen, if I
president
may
right
intervene,
now?
it is JoJo, as you said, my show, Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Yes,
The
sir.
truth is, Biden was totally wrong not to be transparent in releasing Epstein files, and Donald Trump, for a very long period, probably continuing now, has not been as transparent as he promised to be. So a stain on all their houses, frankly. If you're an Epstein victim, you have been served a grotesque miscarriage of governmental justice over this. Hold fire panel for a moment. I'm just going to very briefly, on the issue of the 25th Amendment, which Marjorie Taylor Greene would like to see brought against Donald Trump. We're joined by a guest who has a strong view on the president's health and is a psychologist, Dr. John Gartner, the founder of Duty to Warn. Well, welcome to Uncensored, Dr. Gartner. Your view is what about Donald Trump's cognitive current abilities?
Right. The man is not compos mentis. Those who know him well say he wasn't the same man he was 4 years ago. But I believe that he is showing signs of dementia. A lot of doctors are saying that now. Dr. Vin Gupta has been saying it. And the nature of dementia is it doesn't get better. It doesn't stay the same. It gets worse. And the rate of decline accelerates. Now I think he's not the same man he was 4 weeks ago. We're watching his decline in real time accelerate. And it's really quite frightening because the type of dementia that we think he has, frontotemporal dementia, the main component is a lack of inhibition of aggressive behavior, as well as loss of memory and confusion. But because the frontal lobes, which are the brakes in our brain that give us judgment, that hold us back from acting out impulsively, that's the part that's deteriorating. So not only is he losing his capacity to understand and comprehend, but he's losing all internal inhibition ambitions. And that's why he's behaving in this more erratic and actually self-destructive way in this, I mean, say, tweeting against the Pope or cursing people out, that he's always been impulsive and aggressive.
I mean, he has
but
attacked.
now it's starting to show in a more extreme
look,
way.
He attacked Pope Francis. He's attacked individuals throughout his entire life as an adult, both as a real estate tycoon, as a TV star, as a politician. There's nothing unusual about any of that. I spoke to him on the phone 2 months ago, and he sounded for about 10 minutes exactly the same as the Donald Trump I've known for 20 years. So I'm not sure that I've personally seen any evidence of this dementia you're talking about. But I guess my question for you would be, did you express the same public warnings about Joe Biden?
Well, I think the difference was they were hiding Joe Biden from us. So we really
they weren't hiding him from us on television. I mean, I wrote a number of columns, for example, for the New York Post, in which I said there is clear evidence that Biden is suffering serious cognitive decline, which looks to me like the early onset of dementia. I did this repeatedly for 2 years. I'm not even a psychologist. But I'm just curious whether you ever publicly expressed any concerns about Biden's cognitive ability while he was president.
Well, I think that we missed that one, to be honest, especially for those of us who didn't have close contact with him. But so
you saw nothing, just to be clear, you saw nothing about Joe Biden in public life during the last 2 years of his presidency, which as a psychologist made you think he had any cognitive issues whatsoever?
Well, I think the shocking moment was the debate.
Yeah, but before the debate. Before the debate.
Right. Well, unlike Trump, who's so out there with his cognitive deficits, as I'm saying, I think that his handlers were doing a very good job of keeping him out of the
Biden was
public.
talking to dead people in audiences. He was falling over all the time. He was talking complete gibberish half the time. He looked to me half zombie-like for the last 2 years of his tenure. I suppose the point I would make to you, Dr. Gardner, is it's hard to escape the suspicion that you are politically motivated rather than medically motivated, because for years, we all watched Biden's obvious cognitive decline unravel on the most public stage imaginable, but you've only piped up when it's Donald Trump, not when it was Joe Biden. So people are saying, come off it. They're watching this going, really? You didn't say a single word in public, but now you're trashing Trump all over the place? What do you say to those?
I say that humanity is in the most dangerous moment now that's ever happened in human history, because the man who is president is a malignant narcissist who wants to assert his dominance and his grandiosity over the world. And as he's starting to cognitively deteriorate, he's attacking on an impulsive basis, based on the thrill he gets from destruction because he's a malignant narcissist, and based on his confused cognitive picture, so that he's acting on impulse. He's not acting on strategy.
Okay.
He can't tell us when, where, why, how. He says he knows it in his bones. And so no one can, there's no rhyme or reason to it. But now it relates not just to awkward comments or wandering away from ceremonies, right? But starting what potentially World War III. And this is happening now.
Okay. I'm just, like I say, a little bemused that you didn't see anything wrong with Joe Biden, but perhaps your own cognitive abilities as a psychologist went missing for a few years. But anyway, Dr. Gardner, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, back to the panel. Andrew Wilson. I mean, we might have had a clear example there of Trump derangement syndrome, where there was nothing to see with President Biden whatsoever, even though an English guy sitting in London was able to see it very clearly.
They hid him from us, you see. He couldn't. How could he diagnose him? They had him trapped in the basement. He wasn't allowed to come out and say hello. Of course, that's Trump derangement syndrome. The guy also said a whole bunch of things there that were incorrect. We're on the precipice of World War III. No, we're not. That's complete panic mongering, totally made up. Who would the axis of it would be exactly for the new World War III? Just totally made up nonsense. And by the way, of course, the guy didn't say anything about Joe Biden. He probably said Joe Biden's sharp as a tack, like most of these guys did. Meanwhile, there was a ghost administration who was running it on behalf of Joe Biden because he was not cognitively there. He also declares that Trump's a grandiose narcissist. Based on what? Based on what? You got nothing. The guy has nothing. Total TDS.